In a quaint village nestled at the edge of a dense jungle and sprawling fields, there lived a boy named Raju. His daily task was to herd the village cattle, guiding them through the lush fields and the shadowy edges of the jungle. Raju enjoyed his job not just for the solitude and the chance to be with nature, but also because it provided him ample time to indulge in his mischievous nature. Every day, Raju would rest under the sprawling branches of ancient trees, the cool shade shielding him from the midday sun. He loved the feel of the gentle breeze against his skin and the sight of the clear blue sky overhead. Often, he would climb the trees to pluck the ripest fruits, savoring their sweet, juicy flavor while keeping a watchful eye on the grazing cattle. But Raju was easily bored. In his quest for amusement, he would think up various pranks. Sometimes he threw stones at the workers laboring on the other side of the bushes and then quickly hid, stifling his laughter as they cursed in confusion. At other times, he would let out blood-curdling screams, pretending to be under attack by wild animals. The villagers, alarmed by his cries, would rush to his aid, only to find Raju grinning mischievously, much to their frustration. Despite the villagers' growing anger, Raju continued his antics. Their attempts to scold or reason with him were futile. His pranks became a daily occurrence, and no matter how angry the villagers became, Raju seemed immune to their discontent. One day, the villagers decided they had had enough. They gathered in secret and devised a plan to teach Raju a lesson he would never forget. They decided that the next time he played his tricks, they would not respond. They would let him face the consequences of his actions alone. It was a bright, sunny day when Raju set out with the cattle once again. As usual, his mind was brimming with mischievous ideas. Little did he know that this day would be different. In the late afternoon, Raju climbed a tree and began shouting at the top of his lungs, pretending that a wild animal was attacking him. His cries echoed through the fields, but this time no one came to his rescue. Confused and slightly unnerved, Raju waited for someone to appear, but the fields remained eerily silent. He shrugged it off, thinking the villagers had finally grown tired of his pranks and decided to ignore him. He continued his antics, feeling a strange mix of thrill and worry. As evening approached and the sky turned a soft shade of orange, Raju decided it was time to head back home. He climbed down from the tree and whistled for the cattle, expecting them to come running, but to his shock, the field was empty. His heart raced as he searched frantically for the cattle, calling out their names, but there was no sign of them. Panic set in as the sun dipped below the horizon. Raju ran back to the village, hoping to find someone who had seen his cattle. He pleaded with the villagers for help, but they dismissed his cries, thinking it was another one of his tricks. Desperation and fear welled up inside him as he realized the gravity of his situation. Just as Raju was about to give up hope, an old man approached him and mentioned that some cattle bodies had been found in the bushes near the field, torn apart as if by wild animals. Raju's heart sank. He raced to the spot with the villagers following closely behind. What they found was a gruesome sight, blood-stained grass and remnants of cattle scattered around. Seeing the horrific scene before him, Raju broke down in tears. These cattle were his livelihood, his family's source of income. The reality of his actions hit him like a ton of bricks, and he cried uncontrollably, filled with regret and sorrow. As Raju wept, the villagers suddenly burst into laughter. Confused and bewildered, Raju looked up, tears streaming down his face. The villagers' laughter grew louder, and slowly realization dawned on him. The whole scene had been staged. The blood was just red dye, and the cattle remains were fake. The villagers had orchestrated the entire scenario to teach Raju a lesson. They hoped that by experiencing the fear and panic he had caused them, he would understand the consequences of his pranks. Raju felt a mix of relief and shame. He knew he had deserved this lesson, and he promised himself and the villagers that he would never indulge in such mischief again. From that day on, Raju changed his ways. He took his responsibilities seriously and treated the villagers with respect. He learned to find joy in the simple pleasures of life without resorting to pranks and tricks. The villagers in turn forgave him and welcomed the new responsible Raju into their hearts. Moral of the story: actions have consequences, and continuous mischief can lead to losing the trust and support of others. It's important to consider how our actions affect those around us and to act responsibly.